There were areas of town where we knew we just didn't go. And it was something that we just accepted. And okay, we would make our forays. And I think because we had neighborhood schools and because Denver had such a vibrant African American neighborhood, being self contained, we really didn't, it really didn't hit us that profoundly, you know? Our relatives lived on the east side of Houston, which is Fifth Ward, and I took a bus into downtown Houston. Well, a mile from downtown Houston, the black driver would get off and the white driver would get on. I found that fascinating. I didn't understand it, but that was the way it was, you know. And there were the segregated drinking fountains, and oh, and of course, I did a paper called "The Third Sex" because the restrooms were labeled ladies, gentlemen, and colored. And I said, well, what sex is a colored, you know? But I was introduced to the third sex all throughout the South. So it was my individual, personal encounters that really geared me for what happened in the 60s and my involvement in starting to work in the 60s. But I'll tell you, I became critically aware of what was happening because of the kids from North Carolina, A&T, who sat in at Woolworth's. I read about that and I was incensed. I thought, well, I can go to Woolworth's here in Denver and eat. I was livid. I thought, wait a minute, they can't get a sandwich at Woolworth's. What is this? And we started a sympathy demonstration as a test that there was support outside of North Carolina and outside of the South, because keeping in mind, Colorado was still extremely remote on the information grid. There was a department store called the Denver Dry Goods, which is on 16th and California. They had maids and janitors at the Denver Dry, but they did not have any people of color who were sales personnel. The store at Denver Dry was owned by a company called Scruggs, Vandiver, and Barney, headquartered in St. Louis. And I never shall forget, we met with the manager of the store, who's assured us rather that as long as he, whatever his name is, it's lost in history, as long as he was the manager of the Denver Dry, there would never be a person of color. So we led a very successful campaign against the Denver Dry, and it was the greatest thing in the world. Don't buy Denver Dry. That was wonderful. So we did break them also, and at one time, the yellow cab company here in Denver would not hire black drivers. So we led a successful demonstration against yellow cab. There was a competitive cab company called the Zone Cab Company. So we encouraged people, and their colors were black and white. So we encouraged people to ride the Zone Cab, and we would call the yellow cab line, and we would flood the line and tie up the line so that they couldn't get any business. So those were the two, and that was the early 60s. Those were the two critical incidents that really, they put me in the mood, and I was just right. With every fiber in my body, I will continue to do what I can, even as I slow down and grow older, to make sure that freedom for all people is a reality in the United States. I know it isn't, but we're still going to keep it alive, and we're going to try our very best to ensure that this happens.